What's up, guys? Amster Knows Hoops back today with another video, and today I am talking about the leading candidate for MVP about a week into the season. Now, I don't know if this is going to stay this way, but this guy's been playing too incredible for me to ignore. Anthony Davis has been averaging 34, 11, and 3 this year on about 54 from the field. No, 57, my apologies. 40 from 3 on about 2 threes a game, so again, take that with a bit of a grain of salt. And then going to the line, he's about 80% on 15 a game. So AD is playing aggressive, and that's very important, with about 2 steals and 2 blocks. And the Lakers are currently undefeated heading into tonight's matchup against the Phoenix Suns. Now, I think he's been out of this world, so let's get right into it. And before we do, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. We're trying to hit 1K. People, share this with a friend. Let's get this going. So, I think the best thing here to show is just the aggressiveness they have for AD and how they've been running things. So, even here, right, AD staying right next to him. Landale stays a little too close to Reeves. And at that point, right, you just got to concede what you concede. You got to be able to fight over those picks, right? Gets the board. AD starts to push it up the floor, right? And immediately goes, okay, AR, here we go. We're going to run the pick and roll, right? Now he gets Booker, and I think Reeves does a great job here of shifting over at the perfect time, because now he gets stuck on AD, bounces it over, and at that point, there's no real big there to contest him, which is part of the issue when you play a team like the Suns, and they don't necessarily have a big. And again, AD, Landale, one-on-one, and Landale sinks. AD takes advantage and attacks. And I think, again, the aggressiveness from Anthony Davis is what's going to be so important for this team if they want to win the championship this year or make the playoffs, whatever you think the Lakers are. I think this AD is going to be very, very, very crucial, right? Like, Bron gets the ball up. I love AD already starts posting up Royce O'Neal. He knows immediately, I have the size advantage. I'm going to play to it. Just bullies past him, nearly an and one, right? Again, the aggressiveness of Anthony Davis is important. And I think at the end of the day, you know, a lot of people try and talk about, oh, JJ Redick schemed this, JJ Redick schemed that. I think what JJ Redick has done is extremely simple. He said, we're going to play through Anthony Davis like he is the best player on the Los Angeles Lakers. And we can figure out the rest from there. I think it's that simple. Like, yes, he's done good offensive schemes in terms of getting AD open, right? AD then being able to pivot to pass it to somebody else, getting LeBron a bucket or two if you need it, right? But at the end of the day, JJ Redick has seemingly bet on Anthony Davis being the best player on the Lakers. There's no like, oh, is it Bron? Is it AD? No. The way that JJ Redick at least has been coaching this team, scheming the things, it's around the idea, we're playing through you, AD. You are our best player. You are the one that's supposed to lead us to the promised land now. It is not LeBron. He is your number 2. LeBron is here to help you when you might be struggling or not just doing as well. And then you get games like against the Kings, where LeBron just goes absolutely nuclear in the fourth quarter. But it's also because he's been able to, you know, rest a little bit more, because he's got a guy like AD leading the charge, and he doesn't have to worry about like, shit, here we go again. AD don't want to be doing this, so I gotta get into him, right? Pause. That sounded crazy. But again, even here, staggered screen action for Reeves, right? Gets Booker to fight over. Again, now you force a switch. I don't know why in God's green earth you switch this, but they did. Then Royce O'Neal tries to cover up. Now, this is why the Suns lost the game also. Small ball ain't going to work against this team. Boom, boom, right? Now, Royce does a good job here of actually forcing AD to get uncomfortable, but I love that AD stays aggressive, doesn't try to pass. He goes, no, I'm at the rim. I got the ball back. I'm dunking this thing. And I think that alone is going to show just how important it is for what AD is doing. Again, I just think what he has done is just so crucial. And then defensively. Now, what's funny is defensively, the Lakers are not technically that good this year. I believe they're like 20 in the 20s defensively. I do think a part of that is you're going up against a much more, like, they've gone up against a lot of aggressive offensive heavy teams like a Suns, like a Kings, right, to start the season. So I think the defense isn't going to look as good on paper yet. But even here, right, AD recovers, and at this point, Rudy's going up, and AD just times it perfectly, gets the snatch, right? I think that's what's so important. Again, AD is remaining aggressive. And again, they always have him sort of moving, right? Naz Reid fights over. Vincent gets stuck. He goes, okay, I'll stick with, Naz. Dante, and again, I think what AD does perfectly is he just keeps waiting. He doesn't jump. He waits, and then at that point, they're both, at that apex at a similar point, and AD is able to snatch it. And I think that's what's so important, again, is that AD's patience on defense is going to be key for this team, right? Ant gets past him. And I love, right, Dante, great back cut, by the way. Like, that's picture perfect textbook backdoor cut. Like, you want that on any team. Like, that's perfect. Goes up. AD just does not let that go. And again, AD does a good job of just staying in the air with Dante and making it, smothering for him to try and get past. And even here, right, AD, active hand, snatches it out of McDaniels, right? And that's why I think it's so crucial for this team, is that this team needs to remain defensively, active. And again, I think that's what's so important is JJ Redick has seemingly gone and said, AD, you're our best player. We need you to be active on both sides. You are one of the better two-way players in this league, and you need to remind people of that. Because at times, I've talked about it too on this channel, the offense one day, like for example, I think it was the 2022 playoffs, or 23, my apologies. When AD would have one game where he would drop like 30 and 15, and then the very next game he'll drop like 15 and 10, and then go back to 35 and 20, and then 10 and 14, right? Like, it would be every other night AD would be looking like either one of the best players in the league or just an absolute role player. Now, again, I'm not saying he actually is one, but you get my point. Like, the offensive consistency is important. Now, I don't know if AD will maintain this level of production. I hope he does in a way, because, that's awesome. But even, I went ahead and I did some research. I looked at last year. So the numbers are higher versus, the first year of Darvin Ham. But minus the first game where AD had like 17, he started a stretch where he had like 30, 29, 28, right, to start the season off strong. Then he cooled off. Now, I don't know if that will happen here. If it doesn't, that's awesome. But I would err for people to be a little cautious. Now, I would say still, he's been by far the MVP of the league through these first however many games. And then I think the passing from AD has been important too. Right? He notices again, he gets Rudy on him. Right? Over. Randall sinks over. Boom, one more. Rui, great three, right? It's those little extra reads that AD's making and not forcing a shot that he might not necessarily have that I think is so important. And I love this too, that AD's moving the ball in transition. I know he's done that somewhat before, but again, with this team, with the pace that you're trying to accomplish, and because you're going to be a more defensive team, you need to be able to force easier buckets. So I love that from AD. And again, he gets Dante on him. Or no, my apologies. Then he gets Ant, and he signals a guy over too. He goes, come over. Kicks it over to Rui. Right at that point, guys are kind of slow to get over. And I love that he trusts Rui to make the read. And then even here, right, he goes to screen for D'Lo, fake screen. Slides, right? And again, I think what AD is doing here as a offensive player is crucial. Do I think AD will stay? I think this could be a year where AD stays in the top 5 MVP discussions. Now, obviously the Lakers are not going 82-0. So whenever they lose their first game, they lose their first game. But what we have seen from Anthony Davis on both sides of the floor, the defense we've already known about. We've all accepted that AD is probably the best defender in basketball. The question has always been, will there be an offensive, consistency and production that makes things even higher, right? That makes his play top 5 in the league at this point in his career. And so far, the answer has been yes. And that's why to me, if I had to, for some whack reason, the NBA was like, okay, we're done for the year already. Make your ballots. I'm voting for AD to be MVP. He's been absolutely out of this world. Let me know what you guys think. Will AD maintain this offensive production? Do you think there's going to be a dip? Do you think the Lakers are that good? Do you think JJ Redick is the reason? Or do you think it's that JJ Redick basically put the ball in AD's hands and said, take us home? Let me know what you guys think down below. As always, this is Hoops. Let me know what you guys want to see next. Don't forget to leave a like, comment, subscribe, share this with a friend. Let's hit 1K, people. Have a beautiful rest of your day. This was Hoops. Peace out.